Welcome to Story Time with Gina and Zena. I'm ZBexx.
I'm Gina.
We are super excited to be reading the first, well, not reading. We are storytelling. It's story time. But we've got the
This
first
is going to be a
episode.
performance.
This is art. March of the Machine, Episode 1, Triumph of the Fleshless. If you need to get caught up on the MTG lore, we are here to help you in style. So make sure you hit the subscribe button right now. Episode 1 is Triumph of the Fleshless by K. Arsenal Rivera. Go ahead, Gina.
Well, it's really good to be Phyrexian. It's good to be Elesh Norn because there are 3 planeswalker twerps in front of her and they're begging for mercy with their eyeballs. Kaya, Kaito, Tyvar, they're super scared. She can make it all better if they joined her, but they don't understand the awesomeness of being one. And it's actually just their loss. And she does try to offer one more time. The little one tells her to go to hell. It's rude. They just don't see the beauty of thousands of minds with one thought.
I think my favorite thing about the way this opens up is Elesh Norn just pictures them literally as little worms. They're described as worms. I got a little hungry, wanted some gummy worms, but she doesn't really care about what anybody has to say in this first part.
She does a really cool magic trip where she like snaps and 5 portals open up and she's watching the invasions on all her different monitors of the different planes and she's calmly very psyched about it. Like, because you can't show it on the outside because that's not very cool.
She basically has Willy Wonka powers. She can see everything that's going on in her factory or the multiverse.
Sure. Yeah. She's Big Brother.
She's watching.
These new completed planeswalkers show up. Atraxa, Ajani, Nahira, Jace, and Luca. Luca's like, yeah, we totally carried out your orders. And one of our heroes vomits at the sight of him because he's fugly. He's a little gross. And even Elesh Norn thinks he's fugly, but thinks, you know what? Maybe with some time he could get shinier and that'd be okay, right? But Jace slips away because he already knows his job because, telepathy and stuff. But the rest are like bringing up a wriggling Sheoldred who attempts to hawk a loogie at the boss and fails.
Yeah, Sheoldred thinks that Elesh Norn is having some sort of all will be one complex and that Elesh Norn is just doing the takeover for herself. I mean, but Elesh Norn is like, this is Phyrexia.
Yeah, so sadly, Sheoldred just didn't get with the program. Gets beheaded by a Johnny immediately. Clean up on aisle 4, reuse the parts for something else. That would be great. Thank you.
If Elesh Norn were a Pokemaster, she would be like, a Johnny, axe attack. And boom, Sheoldred. That's how it happened. A swift cut to the head.
Like, behead the traitor. Yep, pretty much. And meanwhile, to make sure that the worms don't get away, Nahiri gives them these really nice stone cocoons up to their necks to delay their exit. Elesh Norn's actually fine with them leaving, but just doesn't want them to do it yet because she wants them to be really good prophets and tell the story about how great Phyrexia is, how powerful, how much you can totally not win if you ever fight us because we are dominating.
She really just says the final word.
And then we have this really fun sequence where she's going to basically interview each of the completed planeswalkers and send them on missions.
If this was a reality show, Elesh Norn is like the pit boss. She's Tyra Banks on Top Model. She's dishing out who's going to stay and who's going to go home.
Yeah, we're going to start with Nahiri. Norn asks Nahiri, like, where were you born? And Nahiri says, oh, yeah, many lifetimes ago. I was born on Zendikar. And Norn's like, okay, good. Nissa, talk to the tree. Show us the place. And yes, Nissa is hard at work steering the tree and is quickly becoming Norn's new favorite. And all the portals become one big thing, and they see the lovely ancient forest full of elves. We approve because we're wearing green.
They're frolicking, they're shooting arrows. It's such a great scene for organic beings like us.
Climbing trees.
Pretty gross for Elesh Norn. She likes metal and oil, stuff like that.
And Nahiri instinctively knows this. Nahiri just snarls at Nissa and says, "The mother of machines does not want to see your dumb trees. Show her one of the skyclaves." So then we get to see the floating city with the hedrons. And Norn says, "Oh, yes, good. I like harsh, precise edges. This is my aesthetic." And Nahiri says, "This is an ancient weapon we used to dominate the plane. I'm going to wake it up."
Nahiri's like, I've got this place that's not going to hurt your eyes, and also it's going to be the perfect home base for your attack on this plane. So, I think it's pretty cool. I've been setting this up for you. Do I get a prize, Elesh Norn?
Yes, Norn says, "You can have a cookie." And then Nahiri planeswalks to Zendikar.
Excellent. So that's the
All right,
first.
So a nice little pat on the head.
Yeah, first contestant out back home to Zendikar, but going home is good in this reality TV show.
Yes, yes. The next contestant is Luca. Luca is asked, "How will you bring the glory of Phyrexia to your home?" And Luca says, "I'll make it heal." Get it?
Luca is such a dog. He literally is like Elesh Norn's pet. And I think it's so funny that he literally puts this word heal in there because he owned a tiger and now he is the dog for Elesh Norn. It's just full circle for Mr. Luca.
Tongue out, tail wagging. And Norn just rolls her eyes. She's like, "No, yeah, obviously, but I'm asking for specifics, you moron. Like, what are you really going to do there?" And he thinks about it for a minute. He says, "Monsters."
Godzilla
like,
monsters.
Okay.
They've got those there on Ikoria.
Yeah. And she's like, "Yeah, okay." She's not like super thrilled with him though, because he's like such a loose cannon, but she's like, "Okay, yeah, go to Ikoria, get the monsters, try not to screw it up." Tamio suddenly shows up, glides in, leans over. "You know he's gonna screw it up, right?"
It's like monsters are not really the metal of the machines of the Phyrexians. Can you control monsters, Luca? Are you a sheepdog? Are you herding the pack? We don't know. You might fail, but that's where Tamio is. What is she saying to Elesh Norn? And Elesh Norn replies,
Yeah. Well, they kind of all know that like Luca's mostly out for number one, even though he's supposed to be one with Phyrexia. But Norn's like, "Yeah, of course, he's probably gonna screw it up. Then you can kill him."
a bull-headed person often makes hasty decisions.
Contestant number 3, Tamio. We're watching Kamigawa. Things are looking pretty normal for the most part. You got your vendors, your lights, mom walking hand in hand with kids, and Tamio's just kind of watching with a faraway look in her eyes. And Norn says, "Did you love Kamigawa?" Tamio says, "Yeah, I had a family. Future
It
was
was
full
nice.
of possibilities." And Norn says, "Wait. Do you still love this family?" And Tammy's just like watching the family on the screen. And there's like, "Oh, wait. Yeah, I want them to understand what I've come to know about unity. If we are all completed, we won't have to be apart again." Yeah.
Family is one. All will be one. Tamio is like, oh, yes, brainwash. Yes.
I love this. I love everything about our plan. Norn reminds her, "Well, our family is the best family. So welcome the old into the new with open arms. Tamio, go."
To Kamigawa, you go,
now.
Tamio. But she's like
Anytime now.
stuck there, frozen, system malfunction. Tamio is not moving. Atraxa even has to swoop in and be like, Tamio, you're supposed to be listening to Norn's command.
Instead, she's super distracted because destruction has come to Kamigawa and the buildings are shaking, the mom and her kids are running away, and she's just like, "Oh my." But she eventually snaps out of it and apologizes. "I have no idea what came over me." And Norn says, "Well, fix it. I have zero tolerance for feelings. Control Kamigawa or get recycled." Tamio says, "As you wish," and Plains walks away.
So then we're just left with a room of Nissa, Ajani, Atraxa, and Elesh Norn herself. Everybody else on their game show is off to do her bidding.
Norn asks, like, "Ajani, what am I going to ask you?" And he's like, "Where I was born." She's like, "No, no, that's not it. You have a greater destiny. Where are you going? And he thinks about it. Theros. And she's like, yes, good boy. And we look at Theros. There's a lot of destruction happening there. There's lots of like crumbling marble, winged constructs gobbling up livestock and humans. And he watches the display and he's like, it feels like they're doing a really good job without me. Are you sure you want to send me there?
Johnny figures out what Elesh Norn wants on Theros. Gods. Gods will help win this war for Phyrexia, right?
Yeah, Norn watches the monitor. Oh, that big thing? Yeah, give me that. One of those, please. I'd like to order a god. There's secret version too. Secret reason. Atraxa is very excited. Been waiting for her turn for a really long time. Like, mother of machines, highest and holiest of authorities, I live to serve. And Norn just rolls her eyes like, Nissa, show me New Capenna. And they see the Golden Gate, the shimmering golden haze.
Marble. Art Deco. We're living in it. Atraxa's like, why do I care about this?
And Norn says, like, I need you to teach these people the price of their insolence. No mercy. They do not get the offer of completion. Like, all of them need to be harvested. Bring down the tower, find the wellspring of Halo, and destroy it.
But be warned, because this Halo, it can affect you. It's not as bad as kryptonite, but it's just going to make you want to do other things.
But you are being given this task because it is glorious. You might have like a little bit of protection from this Halo because of your previous life. And there also exists a danger to New Phyrexia. And if you hurt New Capenna, it will hurt her.
It's basically like Elesh Norn is sending Atraxa on a mission straight to the Death Star.
Halo. Yeah.
Halo. Destroy the Halo.
Atraxa gets excited because she feels really smart. Oh, so that's why you sent a Johnny to Theros. Like, yes, you're very smart. Shut up. And Atraxa goes to New Capenna. And then Norn is lonely because Nissa isn't fun. So she calls for attendants to recite her own thoughts and teachings to her. And then she just tries to forget her nightmares of the woman in white.
The woman in white? Who could that be?
Dun, dun, dun.
You know, if I had just sent all of my reality TV contestants off on their bidding, I would also want to read myself a bedtime story, kind of like we're doing now. So you better make sure to like this episode and follow for the next one, because that was it for episode 1 of our first Phyrexia story.
Do you have a favorite quote from this one?
Well, to be honest, this is my favorite part of the story. It was right at the beginning. 3 worms. I immediately thought of Heidi Klum on Halloween. That was my favorite part. I just set the stage, and instead of seeing planeswalkers, I see 3 versions of Heidi Klum bloop, 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 on the screen, wriggling in front of Elesh Norn. How about you? What was your favorite part or favorite quote of this story?
I actually have two bits I want to highlight.
Oh, sure.
One of them is a direct quote from Sheoldred, who says, "You never cared about unity. You only care about yourself." It's like her parting shot before. But there's this other random moment in the story that we didn't go over because it doesn't have anything to do with the plot. But it's just this like
the shipwreck
flavor. No, the the random part where suddenly Norn asks all the Phyrexians to sing. And they all just go like, oh, and she's like, I love it. I love it. I love it. The completed planeswalkers try to sing too, but they sound bad. Like they're really off key. She hates their voices compared to her Phyrexians. And so she screams, quiet upon the congregation, because they sound bad. And everyone just zip. So she's a conductor. And what would you award Best Picture in the story? There are a lot of cool images. Which one's your favorite?
As a Theros diehard, I gotta go with the gods picture. What about you?
I love the one of a Johnny with the axe and Sheoldred's head. It is very powerful, and there's a lot of muscles. They look badass.
Okay, there is a lot of detail on those muscles there, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for episode 1. On to episode 2.